Captain Jack Sparrow searches for the Trident of Poseidon to rule the sea while being pursued by old rival Captain Salazar and a crew of deadly ghosts who have escaped from the Devil's Triangle. Captain Jack Sparrow Johnny Depp finds the winds of ill fortune blowing even more strongly when deadly ghost pirates led by his old nemesis, the terrifying Captain Salazar Javier Bardem, escape from the Devil's Triangle, determined to kill every pirate at sea, including him. Captain Jack's only hope of survival lies in seeking out the legendary Trident of Poseidon, a powerful artifact that bestows upon its possessor total control over the seas. 2 years following the post-credits scene of At World's End, 12-year-old Henry Turner Brenton Thwaites boards the Flying Dutchman to inform his father, Will Turner Orlando Bloom, that the mythical Trident of Poseidon is able to break his curse and free him from his ship. Will does not believe the Trident exists and orders Henry to leave his ship and never come back. 9 years later, and 5 after the events of On Stranger Tides, Henry works on a British Royal Navy warship. While chasing a pirate ship, Henry realizes the captain is about to sail them into the Devil's Triangle. The captain dismisses his concerns and has Henry locked up for attempting mutiny. As they sail into the triangle, they come across a shipwreck that quickly comes to life with undead sailors, led by Captain Salazar, a powerful and maniacal undead pirate hunter of the Spanish Navy who was trapped in the Devil's Triangle. After escaping, he seeks the Trident of Poseidon to wipe out all piracy and exact revenge on his old enemy, Captain Jack Sparrow. The ghost crew board the ship and kill everyone in their path. Henry is confronted by Salazar Javier Bardem, who sees a wanted poster for Jack Sparrow Johnny Depp in Henry's cell. He allows Henry to live so he can deliver a message to Jack that death is coming his way. Henry had earlier heard on the ship that Jack was dead and buried in St. Martin. In St. Martin, a young woman named Keira Scodelario has been sentenced to death for witchcraft because of her knowledge of astronomy and horology. She manages to escape her cell and briefly runs into Jack, who is in the process of robbing a bank with his crew. Jack and his crew manage to evade the British Army, yet they realize the vault they stole is empty. Jack's crew abandons him for being unlucky and not delivering any loot. Keira later meets Henry, who awakens in a military hospital in chains, the only survivor from his ship who drifted in on a wood plank, who has also been sentenced to death for supposedly committing treachery aboard the vessel of the Royal Navy, and tells Henry she knows of a way to find the Trident. She helps him escape, but gets caught by the British Army. Feeling depressed after losing his crew's support, Jack goes back to town and inside a local tavern. Having no money to pay for his drink, he reluctantly trades his mystical compass. This causes the Devil's Triangle to crumble, and allows Salazar and his crew to sail the seas freely. Soon afterwards, Jack gets caught by the British Army. Before both he and Keira can be executed, Henry helps them escape with help from Jack's crew, and together they sail away on Jack's ship, the Dying Gull. Keira reveals a map that will lead them to the Trident. She has read the map in the Blood Moon, hidden in the Diary of Galileo, given to her by her father, whom she never knew. The map reveals the locations of 4 stars in the sky, which lead to the island where the Trident is hidden, and reluctantly decides to team up with Henry and Jack in order to achieve their goals. Keira and Henry grow closer as their adventure progresses. Salazar and his crew are roaming the seas and destroying ships in Captain Barbossa's fleet in their search for Jack. Barbossa Geoffrey decides to meet Salazar and offers to help find Jack in exchange for sparing his fleet. Salazar explains to Barbossa how he and his crew once sailed the seas to kill every pirate. They were undefeated until they ran into a young Jack Sparrow, who tricked them into sailing into the Devil's Triangle, where Salazar and his crew died and were cursed to remain undead. Jack's mystical compass was the key to freeing them from the Devil's Triangle. Letting go of its ownership would unleash the owner's worst fear. When Salazar's ship finds the Dying Gull, Jack, Henry and Keira escape on a rowboat while the crew remains on board to cause a distraction. Salazar and his crew chase Jack, but upon arriving at a small island, Jack realizes Salazar's ghost crew can't step on land. Barbossa arrives at the island and decides to help Jack. He breaks the black pearl out of the bottle and returns it to its original size. Barbossa takes command of the ship and lets Keira navigate them to the island. During this time, both Jack and Barbossa realizes that Keira is Barbossa's long-lost daughter. Barbossa tells Jack that he left her at the orphanage with his diary to make sure she lives a different life but never imagined he would see her again in their current situation. Shortly after, they narrowly avoid being attacked by a British Navy's warship, which is destroyed by Salazar's ship. Jack's crew then battles Salazar's men. During the fight, they arrive at the Trident's location, a small, uncharted island, and Henry is captured by Salazar. Jack and Keira fall down a cliff after she activates a path to the Trident, which is hidden on the ocean floor. Salazar possesses Henry to walk on dry land, allowing Salazar to seize the Trident and fight Jack, impaling him with the weapon. Henry, now free of Salazar, realizes that destroying the Trident will break all curses upon the sea. He destroys the Trident before Salazar could deliver the final blow, returning Salazar and his crew to the living, as the divided sea caves in Barbossa helps Jack, Henry, and Keira as they're pulled up to safety by the anchor of the Black Pearl. Still intent on killing Jack, Salazar grabs onto the anchor. Keira realizes her relation to Barbossa, and after proclaiming his admiration for her, he sacrifices himself to take down Salazar and his crew, ensuring safety for his daughter and the others. Aboard the Black Pearl, Keira declares to Henry that her last name is no longer Smythe but will be Barbossa. Sometime later, Henry is joined by Keira as they watch his father finally set foot on land again, no longer bound to the Flying Dutchman. As Henry and Keira declare their love with a kiss, Will is reunited with his wife Elizabeth Keira Knightley. Watching from the deck of the Pearl, Jack sails away with his crew, joined by Jack the Monkey, and opens up his mystical compass, revealing their next heading. In a post-credits scene, Will and Elizabeth are asleep when their bedroom is entered by a silhouette of Davy. Will awakens and assumes this as a nightmare, oblivious to the presence of barnacles on the floor.